Okay, let's unpack this. You know that feeling, that weekday morning chaos we all kind of know?
Oh, definitely. The alarm, the coffee, or maybe the panic because you're late.
Exactly. The sounds, the routine. We all have one. It's this like intricate dance we do, mostly on autopilot,
Yeah.
right? But how often do we really, stop and think about it, about all the tiny steps? Or more to the point today, how you would actually explain it to someone?
Especially someone completely new to it all, maybe even learning the language.
Right. Which brings us to today's deep dive. We've got this fascinating blueprint. It's for an English learning program.
Yeah, the source material itself is about teaching English.
But our mission today is a bit different. We're not learning English grammar, not exactly. We're using this super detailed outline. Honestly, it feels like a masterclass in just breaking down, getting ready for the day. We're using it to pull out these like universal insights, lessons in how any complex topic gets structured and taught effectively,
Right.
even for total beginners.
It's like peeling back the layers, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the design underneath.
Yeah, finding the cleverness in teaching some things seemingly simple.
Precisely. Our goal here is to look past the surface level English lesson. We're digging into the pedagogical design.
Which is basically the teaching strategy, the structure behind it all.
Exactly. How they layer the information, how they use repetition, how context makes things, stick.
Not just for language, but for learning anything, really.
Right. It's about seeing the method behind what looks like just, everyday chit-chat.
So it seems simple, but it's actually engineered.
Meticulously engineered, I'd say.
Yeah.
Designed to build understanding piece by piece.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where does this masterclass begin? The source talks about a natural conversation segment first.
That's the foundation.
And they don't just give you a word list. No, they create a whole little world. We meet Jake and Emily.
The roommates.
Yeah, Jake's the early bird, 22, neat, punctual, gets things done.
The ideal morning person, maybe.
Huh, maybe. And then there's Emily, 21, always rushing, hitting snooze probably.
Definitely relatable for a lot of us.
So they're just navigating a normal weekday morning at home. Simple setup.
But incredibly effective.
You mentioned these character archetypes, Jake and Emily. Why them specifically? What's the teaching magic there? It feels deliberate.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's not random at all.
Yeah.
Jake, the organized one, provides this stable baseline for routine language. First I do this, then I do that.
Okay, predictable.
Right. And Emily, she's the chaos factor. The rush, the, oh no, I'm late moments. That creates opportunities for different kinds of language.
Like urgency, complaining, maybe skipping steps.
Exactly. Phrases about being late, hurrying, needing to skip breakfast.
Yeah.
That contrast between them creates natural dialogue and covers more ground.
And it makes them relatable, right? You probably see yourself in one of them, or maybe a bit of both.
That's the hook. You connect on a human level. It makes abstract grammar points or vocabulary feel, grounded in something real.
Yeah.
Tangible.
Yeah. So the language isn't just floating in space. It's tied to these people.
Precisely. And that ties into the setting choice, too. A weekday morning at home.
Why is that so smart?
Think about it.
Why?
How universal is that? Waking up, getting ready, maybe grabbing coffee. Everyone, everywhere, does some version of this.
Yeah, doesn't matter where you're from.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier instantly. No need to explain complex cultural scenarios first. It's familiar ground.
Okay, accessibility. What else?
The controlled environment. Being at home limits the scope. You're not suddenly needing vocabulary for, say, astrophysics or international banking.
Right. It keeps the language focused, manageable for a beginner.
Totally. You're dealing with alarms, coffee, teeth brushing, clothes, basic high-frequency stuff. It prevents that feeling of being totally overwhelmed.
That makes sense. Keep it simple, especially at the start.
And the tone. It's roommates chatting. It's casual, friendly, low stress.
Not like a formal classroom interrogation.
Exactly. So you can just listen, absorb the flow, the rhythm.
Yeah.
You learn not just the words, but the feel of everyday conversation, the little nuances,
How people actually talk.
which is gold for a learner. Much better than stiff textbook dialogues.
Okay, so this familiar low-stress home setting is the stage. And then they weave in these specific, relatable moments.
Yes, the little details that make it feel real.
Like the sound of the alarm clock. We all know that sound.
Ugh, yes. Universal dread, as you said.
Or Emily complaining she's late again, Jake making coffee, the back and forth, like who's using the bathroom first? Or asking about habits. Do you always eat breakfast? Stuff like that.
You can almost hear it, can't you? Emily groaning, 5 more minutes. Jake calmly saying, "Coffee's ready."
It paints a picture. And I want you listening to just think about your own morning, your little rituals, the order you do things, how much overlaps with Jake and Emily.
Probably quite a bit, even if the details differ.
And that familiarity, that's the key, isn't it? It helps understanding sink in. Hearing make coffee isn't just words. You know that action.
Your brain already has a hook for it. It makes absorbing the new language attached to that action much easier.
Like finding a familiar landmark in a new city helps you get your bearings.
Beautifully put. And these moments, these familiar landmarks, act as anchor points for the new language.
Anchor points, explain that.
Okay, so imagine trying to remember a new abstract concept.
Right.
Hard, right? But if you link it to a vivid image, a familiar feeling, a story.
It sticks better.
Exactly. So when Emily groans about waking up, the whole scenario, the sound, the feeling, her words, "I have to wake up now," becomes a strong anchor for that verb phrase.
So the story carries the learning.
Right. It provides immediate, tangible context. It's not a dry vocabulary list.
No.
It's learning within a narrative. It feels more organic, less like work.
And you absorb it without feeling like you're being drilled.
You're primed to learn because the meaning is unfolding in a context you understand.
Which brings up a bigger point you touched on. Understanding the context is sometimes more important than knowing every single word.
Absolutely critical. Think about reading anything complex, maybe a news article or instructions for something.
Right.
You use the overall context to figure out unfamiliar words.
Yeah, all the time.
That skill-deriving meaning from context is fundamental to all learning, whether it's science, history, software, whatever. This program subtly teaches that skill right from the start.
So it's building a framework, a scaffold, where new information just slots in naturally.
Precisely. Makes the whole process less intimidating, more intuitive.
Okay, so immersion complete. We're in Jake and Emily's morning. What's next? How does the program get more specific?
This is where it zooms in, builds the foundational toolkit. It starts with selecting core vocabulary.
And the source lists these specific 7 words for the routine. Wake up, get up, brush teeth, take a shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, and make coffee.
Right. A very deliberate list.
And I was thinking, why these 7? It seems so basic, but there's got to be a reason.
There absolutely is. They represent the essential, can't live without them actions of starting your day. High frequency, high utility.
So the most bang for your buck, linguistically speaking.
Exactly. And they're concrete. You can visualize every single one. Wake up, brush teeth, make coffee. You can see those actions.
Makes them easier to grasp and remember. Visual association.
Right. It's like a minimum viable vocabulary for talking about your morning. You learn these 7, and boom, you can immediately string together a basic description of your own routine or ask about someone else's.
Gives you immediate power to communicate something fundamental.
Huge confidence booster early on.
Okay, so you have the core verbs. What about the grammar to actually use them?
Again, super deliberate focus. The present simple tense.
Why that tense specifically?
Because it's the tense for habits, routines, facts. I wake up at 7. She needs breakfast. The sun rises. It's the absolute bedrock for describing recurring actions like a morning routine.
So it perfectly matches the topic.
Perfectly. Master this, and you can talk about any regular activity, state facts, give basic descriptions. It's foundational.
And then there's that little detail, the third-person singular S.
Ah, yes. The Achilles heel for so many learners. That little as-on verbs for he, she, it.
I wake up, but she wakes up. It seems small, but it trips people up constantly.
Constantly. Even advanced learners sometimes forget it. So this program tackles it head-on, right at the beginning.
With clear examples, side by side, I wake up versus she wakes up.
Exactly. Explicit instruction on a common error point. It's proactive. It anticipates the difficulty and provides the solution up front. Builds a stronger foundation, prevents fossilized errors later on.
Smart. Address the common problems early.
It shows they really understand the learning process.
Okay, so we have words, we have the core grammar rule, then the source mentions target phrases.
These are like conversational building blocks.
Pre-made chunks of language.
Sort of. Ready-to-use patterns, things like, what time do you usually wake up? Or, I brush my teeth and take a quick shower.
And those sequencing ones. First, I make coffee. Then I read the news.
Right. After that, I get dressed.
What's the advantage of giving these whole phrases?
Think about it from the learner's perspective. Constructing a grammatically perfect sentence from scratch is hard work when you're just starting. A lot of cognitive load.
Yeah, you're juggling vocabulary, grammar, word order.
Exactly. These target phrases give you a scaffold. You learn the pattern, what time do you usually, and you can immediately plug in different verbs. Wake up, eat breakfast, leave for work.
Ah, so it lets you participate in real conversations much faster.
Much faster. It lowers the pressure, builds confidence, and shifts the focus to communication, not just perfect grammar.
Like getting a template you can just fill in, gets you talking sooner.
Precisely. It's a shortcut to practical application. Hugely empowering.
And within those phrases, you highlighted the sequencing words. First, then, after that, finally. They seem simple, but you said they're profoundly important.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Don't underestimate these little guys. They're the glue that holds narrative together.
How so?
Well, try describing your morning without them. I wake up, I brush teeth, I make coffee. It's just a list. It lacks flow, logic.
Right, it sounds robotic.
These words, first, then, after that, allow you to show the order, the logical progression. They let you tell a mini-story. First, I wake up, then I get up. It transforms a list into a coherent sequence.
Essential for explaining any process, really.
Any process. Think about giving instructions, telling a story, explaining steps in a project. You need sequencing.
So learning these isn't just about morning routines. It's about learning how to structure any explanation.
Exactly. It's a fundamental skill for clear communication. It teaches the grammar of process itself, how to break things down step by step, a universally applicable skill.
Wow. Okay, so a lot packed into just those few words.
More than you'd think.
All right, so we've got the conversation, the core words, the grammar, the handy phrases, the sequencing. What else does this program layer in? The source mentions an American culture tip.
Ah, yes. The cultural context piece.
Yeah, which includes things like coffee being huge, cereal for breakfast, maybe listening to podcasts, checking the news. Common American morning habits. Why add this layer? Isn't it enough to just learn the language itself?
Well, language doesn't happen in a vacuum, does it? It's embedded in culture.
Sure.
Knowing these little cultural details makes the language richer, more authentic. It helps you understand why people might say certain things or do certain things.
Like why Jake might grab coffee to go.
Exactly. Or why discussing breakfast might involve cereal or toast rather than, say, a large family meal, depending on the culture. It explains the context behind the words.
So it makes the interactions feel more real and prepares you for actual conversations with native speakers.
Definitely. It bridges that gap between textbook language and how language is used in real life with all its cultural quirks. Even a simple routine reveals a lot about values, efficiency, individualism, things like that.
Fascinating how much you can unpack from just a morning routine.
It's a microcosm.
Okay, culture covered. Then there's the language takeaways segment. This sounds like where they explicitly break things down.
Yes, this is brilliant. It's where the implicit learning becomes explicit knowledge.
What do you mean by that?
Well, during the natural conversation, you are absorbing patterns, maybe noticing things subconsciously. Here, the program stops and says, okay, remember when Jake said he wakes up? That is because. It connects the dots.
Ah, so it points out the rules you might have intuitively picked up on.
Exactly. It encourages metacognition, thinking about your own learning process. Oh, that's why they said that. It helps solidify the rules by linking them directly back to the conversation you heard.
Making the abstract concrete.
Precisely. And they include examples, pronunciation tips. It's multisensory reinforcement. You hear it, you see the rule, you understand the concept. That makes it stick much better than just passively listening.
So it's not enough just to hear it. You need to understand the why.
Crucial for true mastery. That analytical step cements the knowledge.
Okay, makes sense. So after all this input conversation, vocabulary, grammar, culture, explanations, comes the practice, right? Active engagement.
Yes, time to actually use it.
Yeah.
This is where the vocabulary drill and speaking practice prompts come in.
Tell me about the drill first. How does that work?
It's pretty straightforward, but effective. They say the word slowly, get up. Then the definition, to rise from bed. Then a sample sentence, I get up at 7 a.m. Then a pause.
For you to repeat it.
Exactly. Get up. Pause. Take a shower. Pause. Get dressed. Pause. It focuses on those core verbs, drilling pronunciation and basic meaning through repetition.
Building that muscle memory for the words.
Right. Automaticity. Getting the sounds and basic meaning locked in.
And then the speaking practice prompts take it further.
Yeah, these push you beyond just repeating. They demand active recall and personalization.
Like the examples here. What time do you usually wake up? What do you do after you get up?
Or describe your morning in 4 steps. It forces you to retrieve the language you've learned and apply it to your own life.
Not just parrot Jake and Emily.
Exactly. And those this or that questions are neat too. Coffee or tea? Shower in the morning or at night?
Eat breakfast or skip it. Why are those particularly useful?
They seem simple, but they encourage expressing preference, making a choice. Even at a basic level, you're formulating an opinion using the new language. It moves beyond just factual recall.
So it's not just about knowing the words, but actively using them to express yourself.
That's the core of it. This active engagement, retrieving, personalizing, articulating, is what truly solidifies learning and builds real communicative confidence. It's the difference between knowing about swimming and actually swimming.
You have to jump in the pool.
You got it. And that repetition, with the variation, the drill for automaticity, the prompts for flexible use is key. It caters to different stages of learning.
Making the knowledge usable, adaptable.
Turning passive knowledge into an active skill. It shows that mastery isn't just absorbing, it's manipulating and applying.
Okay, so drills and prompts get you using the language. But then the program includes mini role-play activities. This sounds even more interactive.
It is.
Yeah.
This is where you really put it all together in a simulated real-world context.
What kinds of scenarios are we talking about?
The source gives 2 examples. Scenario 1. You and your roommate overslept. You're both late.
Oh, instant drama, relatable stress.
Right. And it prompts expressions like, we're going to be late, or skip the coffee, just grab a banana. Language tied to emotion and urgency.
Okay, so applying language under pressure, sort of. What's scenario 2?
You're helping a friend build a better morning routine.
Ah, so using those sequencing words.
Exactly. First, wake up at 6:30, then do a quick workout. You're advising, structuring information for someone else.
These are great. They push you beyond just describing your own routine. You're reacting, advising, problem solving.
It requires a much deeper level of engagement. You're integrating vocabulary, grammar, sequencing, maybe even cultural appropriateness, all at once. It's like conversational improvisation practice.
Why is role-playing so effective for learning?
It creates a safe space to perform. You get to try out the language in a situation that feels real, but without the high stakes of an actual conversation where you might feel embarrassed.
Low-stakes practice.
Exactly. It forces you to synthesize everything you've learned and apply it dynamically. It simulates the cognitive load of a real interaction.
And that's where true understanding gets built?
I believe so. It really hammers home the idea of experiential learning. You learn by doing.
Like flight simulators for pilots or mock trials for lawyers?
Perfect analogies.
Yeah.
You have to practice the actual performance of the skill, not just read the theory. Role-playing is the language learner's simulator. It bridges the gap between knowing about the language and knowing how to use it effectively.
Powerful stuff. Okay, so after the role play, what's the final step in this learning module?
Consolidation and reinforcement. The quiz and recap,
Testing time.
but in a supportive way. It's designed to check understanding and solidify what's been learned.
What kinds of quiz questions?
A good mix. True or false, fill in the blanks, like I my teeth after I wake up.
Okay, testing vocabulary recall.
Multiple choice, maybe testing sequence. Which comes first? Brush teeth or eat breakfast?
Testing comprehension of the routine itself.
And even listening recall, asking questions about the original Jake and Emily conversation from segment 1.
Ah, looping all the way back. Clever. Checks if you absorb the initial context, too.
It ensures the learning is comprehensive. And then, the final recap.
What does that involve?
Just a quick summary of the absolute key takeaways. Top 5 vocabulary words, the main grammar tip, present simple, plus the S rule, and maybe a model practice sentence that ties it all together.
Like first I wake up, then I get up and make coffee. After that, I eat breakfast.
Exactly. A concise summary, a final reinforcement of the core concepts, gives you a clear takeaway message.
So this whole journey from listening to analyzing, practicing, applying, testing, reviewing, it's very deliberate.
It's a highly structured, iterative cycle. Each step builds on the last, catering to different learning needs and ensuring the information sinks in deeply.
Passive listening, active engagement, testing, reinforcement covers all the bases.
And that's the big lesson, isn't it? That breaking down any skill, even something as seemingly simple as a morning routine, into these manageable, contextualized, actively practiced steps is the key to mastering it.
It's a blueprint for effective learning design, period.
Absolutely. It shows that real learning isn't just about dumping information. It's about the journey, the structure, the practice, the context.
It really is amazing. Looking at this outline, you see so much thoughtful design packed into teaching something so basic. It elevates the humble morning routine into this, like, perfect case study for learning.
It truly is. A masterclass hidden in plain sight.
We started by looking at an English lesson plan, but we've ended up unpacking principles of effective teaching and learning that apply way beyond language.
Definitely. And that brings us to the final question, really. For you, listening right now, how can you take these principles we've talked about, breaking things down, finding context, active practice, reinforcement, maybe even role-playing or simulation, and apply them to whatever you are trying to learn?
Whether it's a new skill for work, a hobby, understanding a complex issue.
Exactly. How can you structure your own learning using these building blocks? How can you find the relatable context, practice actively, and test yourself along the way?
That's a great takeaway, and it makes me think maybe we should all look at our own routines differently.
How so?
Well, think about your own day. Getting ready, starting work, making dinner, whatever. What are your first then after that steps? Are they efficient? Are they conscious choices?
Analyzing the grammar of your own daily life.
Yeah. Could identifying those sequences reveal insights, maybe about habits, efficiency, where you could improve something, or just understanding your own patterns better?
That's a fascinating thought, applying the learner's lens to ourselves.
And maybe, just like this program uses small, repeatable practices, drills, prompts to build language skill, what small, repeatable practices could you build into your day to help you learn or manage things better? Like the language learner mastering wake up and get dressed one step at a time.
Deconstructing our own routines to find hidden lessons. I like it. A lot to think about there.
Definitely something to mull over, the complexity hidden in the everyday.